石を照らす飛び散れ筋肉ビーム勝利に向かって私は強い筋肉マン走る見事に心に愛がなければスーパーヒーローじゃないのさ筋肉マン Go fight 私は強い筋肉マン走る見事に心に愛がなければスーパーヒーローじゃないのさ筋肉マン Go fight
Alright, take two. So, what I mentioned earlier, that it was a struggle to get the Wi-Fi to behave. It turns out that it was because the internet actually was just getting ready to die. I was like, oh man, 20 minutes into stream and already we have a disconnection. What's going on here? Did somebody do something? I go downstairs and the light on the router is just blinking because the router was actually just very much deceased. But I went ahead, troubleshoot what I could troubleshoot, and so it's more or less behaving better now. Only 186 frames dropped so far, and much more stable on the bitrate front. So it better behave. We're half an hour behind now, with 55 years left of the game, and at 1.1.2. We'll just redo a compressed version of the spiel from the first time around. New version. I was expecting there might be a new hotfix by the weekend, but they got one out already, which is funny. Because I did look early this morning, there was nothing, and started to stream the first time. Update to upload. Damn. Seems to be roughly a smaller one. Enfranchisement no longer duplicates a lot of wealth. And as we'll see in a second, the estates have lots and lots of money. Because they are actually just duplicating their wealth for real, though. I saw a thread on Reddit where it actually got confirmed by the Paradox people there, that if a location had less than 100% control, then the estates were just duplicating the maximum amount of tax there. Instead of the estates get the difference between max control and current control, they were just getting maximum control worth. And so you got your tax, they got their tax. You can't duplicate money, but apparently you can. Peasant and noble estates can now expand on RGOs if they're granted the privileges to do so. Also very cool. Hunting RGOs require lumber instead of tools. Forestry RGOs, masonry instead of tools. I guess that's their way of trying to tackle the death spiral of lumber, tools, iron, that the hyperinflation for the economic rebalancing, rebreaking had caused. The state power selling skill below 0, trade impact, supply demand now equal, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, as you could see, with the money duplication, both from enfranchisement and control, duplicating ducats for the estates. The nobility is sitting on 500,000 ducats, get 1,000 per month. Clergy, 1,000,000 ducats, 2,000 per month. The Italian burghers, 1,000,000 ducats, 1,500 per month. Commoners, 1,000,000 ducats, 2,500 a month. So the enfranchisement has definitely been helping the commoners. The commoners are the wealthiest of all. And as far as the commoners and nobility can build RGOs if they have the privileges to do so. For the nobility, that's coming from land rights. Nobles allowed to expand RGO equals yes. And for the commoners, that's hidden down in free mobility for the people. Commoners allowed to expand RGO. Which of course I gotta go with. Even though that's gonna get me -5 happiness for the nobles, their chattel serfs are no longer allowed to just stay on their land forever and be their permanent property. And now commoners have 103% happiness. And that basically catches us up to where the stream was before it disconnected. Before the internet straight up died. Which I didn't even see Hordian being like, oh no, first of all, stream dead. Because the internet was so dead that the dashboard wasn't even updating the chat. So sorry for that, Hordian. Internet was such a problem, it was even hiding you from me, Hordian. I'm so sorry. The game's making it up to us by starting off with the hardest song of the soundtrack. And so that brings us to today with 55 years left to go in the game. We finished yesterday with the World War, did a crusade against Egypt, which pulled in the coalition against me, Egypt, Ottomans, Tunis, Spain, France. I was hoping France would call in Bohemia because as a coalition member, France is a co-belligerent, and so they should have been able to call an ally. And then a sudden disconnect, reconnect. But I know the bitrate was good because I was keeping my eye on it. Okay, now this is getting silly, what the heck? I didn't even go back into the game yet. So I could see. I could see the bitrate in OBS wasn't even fluctuating or anything. It was just stable bitrate and then disconnect. And then stable bitrate and then disconnect. I am seeing that the Wi-Fi on my tablet is fewer bars than normal. And because my tablet's Wi-Fi adapter tends to be stronger than the Wi-Fi adapter of my own actual computer, it's pretty much an early warning detection thing that, hey, things might fuck up later. Now it's at max. So, what I'm thinking then is that because I went downstairs, unplugged the router, waited for a bit, plugged it back in, and then things seemed to fix for the most part. It was still doing some little fluctuation stuff, you know, getting the extra night's poops out before it fully wakes up. So, bitrate, they're gonna give me scrunchy brows for the rest of my life. Let's begin by making more, not cantonments, conscription centers, which give 25 monthly manpower over the 15 manpower from barracks. I was sitting at 1.5 million total manpower for 5 years before the World War, and now it's down to 0.9 million. It could be the population drop from war had dropped my... Oh, look at that, we got more population than ever. And we do still have all of our Neapolitan lands. We're getting more Neapolitan land. And our Catalan land. Neapolitan is primary, Catalan is accepted. So if I just build more stuff here and more stuff here, manpower should jump up again. So step number 1 is build a whole lot of conscription centers. In most of these areas, the upgrade is only giving an extra 10 per month, but even 10 per month is really nice. Conscription in the mountains. They think living up in the pasturelands and the valleys is gonna keep them away from war? No, we need our shepherds and shepherdesses. Who else would be best at keeping our sheep in line? They literally live in the mountain passes? Well, great. Then who else knows best on how to actually maneuver and survive in the mountains? Paranoia check, okay. Bitrate's still good, drop frames are minimal. Maybe some of it's the minor uprisings, because they are dropping control. And we are getting minor uprisings in a lot of places. And so, steady drop of control could be part of what's minimizing my maximum of manpower from 1.5 million to just 90,000. 90,000? 900,000? And that's partially why people say that you want to max out your manpower buildings close to your capital first, because that way you get a maximum amount of manpower. But there's a limit to how many buildings you can build in a single location, as far as like regimental camps, barracks, etc. go. So you do eventually gotta spread out from there. To think, now my nobles and peasants alike can spend their money upgrading RGOs. I no longer have to put all of my monetary attention to it. And if I neglect an RGO for a bit, it doesn't have to stagnate at artificially low numbers. My wealthy commoners and less wealthy nobles. My commoners are more wealthy than my nobles. Can just build them all for me, the same way the burghers have been building up roads. And it gives them something to build, so if they don't feel like making one of the estate buildings that enrich themselves, they could make more silk, more wheat, more whatever. There. 311 build order. Okay, let's unpause then. 21 minutes into stream, which means bitrate good, bitrate excellent. Crusade disbanded because we got what we wanted and left the war. Nobody else is at war with the Mamluks. We didn't take Cyprus from the Ottomans like I wanted, but we did fill in that crayon along more of the eastern Mediterranean. Got more of the western Mediterranean African coast. Got only a little bit more from France because all that land is super, super prosperous. These guys aren't moving. 1, 2, 3 for France. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put to anti-Bohemia forces. I do still want to eventually take on Bohemia. We have all these